Hello, good morning. I am back. I am Mambi at your service. So we're going to have the continuation of our lesson about circles today. And so, this is for weeks 5 and 6. So these are the objectives. Okay, so here in the learning task 1, you are asked to match column A to column B. So let's find out if your answer is correct. First, we have number 1, a line segment, a line and array that intersects a circle at point B. So here is it. That is line BC, which is letter D. So number 1 is letter D. Number 2, the point of tangency between a tangent and the circle. So here is the point of tangency. So that means number 2 is letter E. Next, number 3, a line segment, a line array that intersects a circle at exactly 2 points. So here is it. So that's line segment DE. DE. Where is it? DE. Oh, we don't have DE. So it should be letter B. Bakit siya ay DC? Okay, so it should be DE. Next, number 4, a second segment is a segment with one endpoint on a circle, one endpoint outside the circle, and one point of intersection. So here is it. That is line DC. Line DC. Ayun. So that's letter F for number 4. Okay, number 5. An external second segment is the part of a second segment that is outside a circle. So based on this one, we will get this part. So that is line segment EC. So number 5 is letter C. And then the last one, the tangent segment is a segment whose endpoints are the point of tangency and the fixed point. So that means this one. So that's line segment BC. So letter A. Okay, so did you get 6? Very good. So let's continue. So these are some of the topics that were not discussed last week. So in week 3 and 4, so we will go back to this. This pertains to the theorems on angles formed by tangent, secant, and chord, for example. So, given an angle with its vertex on a circle formed by a secant ray and a tangent ray, the measure of the angle is half the measure of the intercepted arcs. Okay, so I have here 3 figures with different arcs and their different angles. So, let's have angle BAC. The intercepted arc is ADC. So what's the measure? Suppose this one is 300. So what is the measure of this angle? So half of 300 is 150 degrees. Okay, now in figure 2, so suppose we have angle DEF. Okay, so this is the angle. So this is the arc. Arc EBF. Suppose this one is 200. So what's the measure of the angle? It's 100. So 200 divided by 2 is 100. And the last one, so we have angle HGI. Yon. And this is the intercepted arc. Now, suppose the angle is given 112 degrees. So what is the measure of the intercepted arc? Yes, it's 224 degrees. So we multiply 112 by 2. So vice versa. Okay, so that's how to get the measure of an angle given the tangent ray and the secant ray. Next, suppose you're asked to get the angles formed by intersecting chords. So how do we get this? If two chords intersect within a circle, then the measure of the angle formed is equal to half the sum of the measures of the intercepted arcs. So you get half of the sum. So may i-add at mayroong i-divide. Okay, so suppose we have this circle with intersecting chords. So that's AD and BF intersect at point E. So thus it form 4 pairs of vertical angles. So we have angle FED and angle BEA, and angle AEF and angle DEB. They are said to be congruent angles also. So, if measure of arc AB equals 30 and measure of arc FD is 80, what's the measure of FED? So, by the formula, it says that we get 1/2 of the sum. So, we'll add the two arcs. That will be 30 plus 80 equals 110, and half of 110 is 55 degrees. And then, because vertical angles are equal, then we say that the measure of angle AEB is also 55 degrees. Yan. And they are equal. Okay, another illustration. I want to show you this one. Yan. So, in short, the measure of angle 1 is equal to 1/2 of the sum of x plus y degrees. Let's say that x is 100 degrees and y is 60 degrees. What is the measure of angle 1? This will become 1/2 of measure of arc x and measure of arc y. So that will be 160 divided by 2 is 80 degrees. So the measure of angle 1 is equal to 80 degrees. Okay, next. Another. This time, these are angles formed from tangent and secant segments. So that means if a tangent and a secant, two secants or two tangents intersect in a point in the exterior of a circle, then the measure of the angle formed is equal to 1/2 the difference of the measures of their intercepted arcs. Yan. So, heto meron tayong secant segment and tangent segment. Yan. So, this is the secant and this is the tangent. And then, we have the angles. Point K is at the exterior point, so therefore it forms angle K. Yan, so ito yung ating arc LJ and this is arc HJ. So anong gagawin natin sa measure ng arc nila? So ima-minus natin mamaya. So suppose this is 150 and this one is 110. What is the measure of angle K? So, by the formula, it says that the measure of angle K is equal to 1/2 of the measure of arc LJ minus the measure of arc HJ. So, that will be 150 minus 110 is 40, divided by 2 is 20 degrees. So, therefore, angle K is equal to 20. Okay, so another example. So that means the measure of angle 1 is equal to x minus y. Suppose that x is 100, y is 40. So what's the measure of angle 1? So it's simply 100 minus 40 is 60 divided by 2 is 30. So that's very easy. Okay, another. We have here two tangents. Two tangents, so that means what is the measure of angle 2? So simply get 1/2 of arc ABC minus arc AC. So that is equal to, suppose this one is 252 and then arc AC is 108. What's the measure of angle 2? So minus lang natin yung 252, so 108, so that's 142. And then, half of 142 is equal to 71. Okay? Now, the first topic is on sector and segment of a circle, which was already introduced to you last week. So, you see the difference between a sector and a segment. So, a sector of a circle is the region bounded by two radii and their intercepted arc. To find the area of a sector of a circle, get the product of the measure of the central angle divided by 360 and the area of the circle. So remember, the formula in finding the area of a circle is equal to pi r squared. But since we are just getting a part of the circle, so which is a sector, that means we will multiply it by the ratio of the central angle to 360 degrees. That's why the formula becomes this: pi r squared c over 360 degrees, where c is the central angle in degrees, r is the radius of the circle, and pi is approximately 3.14. Next, for a segment of a circle, it is the region bounded by an arc and its chord. So to find the area of the shaded segment, we subtract the area of the triangle from the area of a sector. Yan. So it is best that you know how to get the area of a sector first, and then since segment is just a part of the sector, we will just subtract it with a triangle. But our focus today is on the theorems on secant and tangent segments of a circle. Okay, we will start with theorem on two intersecting chords, or known as the intersecting chords theorem. It states that if two chords of a circle intersect, then the product of the measures of the segments of one chord is equal to the product of the measures of the segments of the other chord. Okay, so this is an example. So we have a circle with two chords, line segment AB and line segment DE. They intersect at point M. So that means secant AB and DE are intersecting chords. So, illustration. Suppose that A, B, C are and D are the lengths of chords in a circle. So we apply this formula to make it easier. So we say that A times B is equal to C times D, where A, B, C, D are the representation of the chords in a circle. So for example, we have this. So how do we prove that the intersecting chords theorem is correct? So we use 5 times 4, which is on the same chord, is equal to 2 times 10. So 5 times 4 is 20, is equal to 20. So you see, they are equal based on the intersecting chords theorem. Let's have another example. So you solve for x. So what is the value of x here? So applying the intersecting chords theorem, we have 6 times x. So since they are on the same chord, is equal to 7 times 4. So that will be 6x equal to 28. To get x, divide 28 by 6. So x is equal to 4.7. So you see, it's very easy to get the value of x. Now, you try this. You solve for x, considering that on this chord are two different representations. So, sige. I'll give you 1 minute for this problem. Okay? Time's up. So, let's see if your answer is correct. So, first we have 3 times 4 is equal to x times 7 minus x. So, that is 12 times x times 7 is 7x. X times negative x is negative x squared. And then, transpose the equation so that it becomes quadratic equation. So, we have x squared minus 7x plus 12 equals 0. Then, looking for the factor of x squared minus 7x plus 12, we got x minus 3 and x minus 4 So we have x equal to 3 or x equal to 4. So let us check if the values are correct using the formula a times b is equal to c times d. So we have first, let's use x equal to 3. So 3 times 4 is equal to 3 times 7 minus 3. Then 12 is equal to 3 times 4 is 12. So check. How about for if x equal to 4? So that's 3 times 4 equals, this time it's 4 times 7 minus 4. So that's 12 is equal to 4 times 3 is also 12. So both are correct. Okay, next, another theorem is theorem on two secant segments, or known as the secant-secant theorem. It states that if two secant segments are drawn to a circle from an exterior point, then the product of the lengths of one secant segment and its external secant segment is equal to the product of the lengths of the other secant segment and its external secant segment. So you see, this is an external, there are two segments here which are supposed to be a secant segment, because you see that the segment has a part that is outside the circle. Okay, so meron tayong external part of the segment. So how do we solve this kind of theorem? Okay, so let's see. So we use the equation this time. It's a times a plus b is equal to c times c plus d. So these are the representation. So we have the two secant segments. So we have a, b, and then c, d. So example, so we have this figure. So let us prove that the external secant segments are correct. So we substitute it to the formula a times a plus b. So ano magiging a natin? So halimbawa, it's 4. Siyempre, ang b niya ay 2. So kailangan, they lie on the same segment. Tapos yung ating c ay 3. And then ang d natin ay 5. So by substitution, we have 4 times 4 plus 2 is equal to 3 times 3 plus 5. Simplifying, we have 4 times 6 is equal to 3 times 8. And as you can see, 4 times 6 is 24. And then, 3 times 8 is also 24. Okay. O, diba? We have proven that the external secant segment theorem is correct. Okay, next, another example. So, again, let's find the value of x here. Okay, so using the equation, a times a plus b is equal to c times c plus d. So, anong a natin? 2, and b is 10. Then, c is x, then d is 5. O, pwede rin namang baliktad. A is x, b is 5. Then, c is 2, then d is 10. So, whatever. Anyway, they are equal. So, we have 2 times 2 plus 10 is equal to x times x plus 5. Simplifying, we have 2 times 12 is equal to distributive property. X times x is x squared. X times 5 is 5x. So, that becomes 24 equals x squared plus 5x. And transforming this to a quadratic equation, we have x squared plus 5x minus 24 equals 0. Look for the factors of the equation. We have x plus 8 times x minus 3 is equal to 0. Then sub for x, we have x equal to negative 8 and x equal to 3. And since we are going to get the length of the secant segment, or the value of x, it must be positive. So that means we only get 3. So the value of x is 3. Okay, let's try to check if 3 is correct. So let's substitute that to x here. So that becomes 2 times 12 is equal to 3 times 8. And as you see, 2 times 12 is 24, and 3 times 8 is also 24. So 3 is Correct. Now, you try this. What is the value of x? Again, I will give you 1 minute. Begin. Time's up. So the answer, x equal to 4. Did you get it correctly? Very good. Moving on, let's have the last part. Theorem on a tangent segment and a secant segment, or known as the secant tangent theorem. It states that if a tangent segment and a secant segment are drawn to a circle from an exterior point, then the square of the length of the secant of the tangent segment is equal to the product of the lengths of the secant segment and its external secant segment. So this time we have the last theorem has two secant segments. This time it has a tangent segment and a secant segment. So ito yung tangent segment, yung merong lang isang point of intersection. That is line segment ZO. And this one is the secant segment, which is line segment YO. Kasi it passes the circle at 2 points. So how do we solve for this one? Okay. So we this time use the formula or the equation a squared is equal to b times b plus c. Yan. Where yung a natin is for the tangent segment. And b and c are for the secant segments. Yan. So, bawal malito ha. For example, okay, so using this one, let us prove that the theorem is correct. So, let's substitute. Ang ating A is 8, and ang ating B is 4, and ang ating C is 12. So, substituting, we have 8 squared is equal to 4 times 4 plus 12. That will be 64 is equal to 4 times 16. And then, you see that 64 is equal to 64. O, diba? Again, it's correct. Let's have another example. Okay, so let's solve for x. So, we use the formula a squared is equal to b times b plus c. So, anong a natin? 10. Ang b natin is 5, and ang x natin ay, ang c natin ay x. So, by substituting, we have 10 squared is equal to 5 times 5 plus x, where 10 squared is equal to 100, and 5 times 5 is 25, plus 5x. Transposing 25, we have 100 minus 25 equals 5x, and 100 minus 25 is 75. To get x, divide 75 by 5. X equal to 15. Okay? So, remember? Okay, so it's correct again. Oh, this time, you try this. Again, I will give you 1 minute. So, you solve for x. This time, x is the tangent segment. It's a tangent segment that we are looking for. Okay, so it's your turn. You may start. Begin. Okay, time's up. And this is the solution. Yan. So, it's x squared is equal to 9 times 9 times 25. Bakit siya naging 25 agad? Kasi 9 plus 16 is 25. Na-shortcut ko na lang po. And then, 225. 9 times 25 is 225. So, to get the value of x, you get the square root of 225, which is plus or minus 15. But, since we are going to get the positive value, since we are dealing with the length of the segment, it must be positive. So, in short, the answer is only 15. Okay? Did you get it correctly? Very good. And now, for the last one, I'm going to give you a problem similar to the written works that you have. Okay, so it says that Alex wants to purchase a cover for their circular pool. He needs to know the radius of the pool, but he does not want to get wet to take the measurements. He is standing 1.4 meters from the pool and 4.2 meters from the point of tangent C. Find the radius of the pool. So, ang missing po ay radius of the pool. That means that one segment will be coming from the center to a point outside the circle. Okay, so let's illustrate. So this is the circular pool, and then Alex is standing here, and he says that he is 1.4 meters from the pool. Ayan. So ito yung 1.4 meters from the pool. Then, he is also 4.2 meters from the point of tangent C. Meaning to say, that point, that segment will be touching the circumference of the circle because it's a point of tangency. Yan. So this is the segment. You can see here the point of tangency, and this is Alex, and that one is 4.2 meters. Ayan. So ngayon ang tanong ay find the radius. So, what is the radius? Siyempre, dito natin nahanapin yung radius, hindi dito. Oh. So, ito yung tangent segment. So, nasa second segment yung radius ng circle. And so, we use the formula a squared is equal to b times b plus c, which is, so we substitute 4.2 meters squared is equal to 1.4 times 1.4 plus 6x. So, remember, yung tangent segment natin ang narito sa, yun ang magiging A natin. So, yung 4.2, yun ang A natin. Tapos, ito yung B natin. Ito yung B, ito yung C. So, that will be 17.64 equals to 1.96 plus 1.4, ha? So, take note, ha? Hindi ko binigay yung kompletong details dun sa WW nyo, ha? Binago ko ng konti. Yung iba kasi kung ano yung na-i-example ko, yun ang binibigay na sagot. Okay, so we transpose 1.96. So, ang matitira ay 15.68 is equal to 1.4x. To get x, divide 15.68 by 1.4. So, the answer is 11.2. So, that means the radius is 11.2 meters. Yan. Okay, so sabihin nyo, ay, bakit po mas maiksi? O, di ba? May 11.2 pa pala dito. Ayan. Baka kasi magtanong, kailangan mas mahaba dapat ito. Kasi ito yung from the center to a point outside the circle. Okay, so that's it. This will be your assignment for this week. You answer the written work number 3. And then, the performance task number 3. Okay? So, thank you everyone for listening. So, if you have some question, you can find me at my FB account. Okay? That's all for today. Bye-bye everyone. And always keep safe. Love you all.